guys, welcome to another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about 10 things I wish I knew in college. So college was a super exciting time for me. Having, Nigerian parents, I grew up in a fairly strict household where I couldn't go on dates with girls, and if I did, I'd have to lie about it. So when I got to campus, the thought of being on my own and being able to do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, was an incredible feeling. So one thing I quickly began to notice was that there were pretty girls, everywhere. So, because of this, I tried talking to a bunch of girls my freshman year, and while some worked out and, they were cool, this also meant that I got rejected a lot. So this leads to the first thing I learned. You can't get caught up on a girl's physical appearance. Doing this leads to you putting her on a pedestal, and if she rejects you, it leaves you feeling like you were never worthy of her time in the first place. The next lesson I learned was that prioritizing is a crucial skill that everyone needs. If I had $1 for every night that I spent thinking about, what girl I wanted to hang out with, or, what girl I wanted to hit up, I would, be a rich man. And so I formed a habit of doing this, and as a result, I wasted a bunch of time that I could have used studying for classes or doing homework. J. Cole said it best, if people put half what they put in chasing ass into a craft, by now you'd be famous and rich. There's also a difference in being lonely versus being alone. In college, I had the mindset that I was lonely. So, I had that mindset because, I met a lot of good friends though in college, and, I was blessed to meet a lot of awesome people. But, on a Friday night, for example, if the girl I wanted to hang out with didn't respond to me, I would feel lonely. Because I've always been more of a homebody, it's not like I was just gonna, go to some party and meet girls there. So I wish I knew that sometimes being alone is a great opportunity to catch up on sleep, relax, or just get some work done. So Sunday night isn't as stressful since all the homework that was due on Monday would have already been done. Another tip I have for you guys is to not take it personally if you don't vibe with someone. My junior year, I worked at my apartment complex, basically as an RA. And for whatever reason, I felt like one of my coworkers would always talk down on me. And this would get me upset, and it almost led to a verbal confrontation one day. Even though I got over the situation eventually, in my heart, I still felt some type of way about her. As time went on after college and, looking back on things, I realized that there was nothing wrong with her. She was a great person, she was funny and had a loving heart. I just had to realize that her actions towards me had, more to do with us just not vibing well, and less to do with how she is as a person. So in college, I majored in integrative physiology, which is basically the study of how the body functions. So we had to take classes like anatomy, chemistry, and biology. And if I could go back and do things over, I probably would have taken my time to explore different majors. Since I decided my sophomore year that I wanted to go to dental school, I chose my major because anatomy sounded interesting, and my major included a lot of my prereqs. And the people, that essentially the problem was I was required to take labs that, my major required, but I didn't need for dental school. And I hated labs. And so that's why if I could go back in time, I probably would have majored in something like finance, and taken my prereqs for dental school on the side. And I know I was just talking about, girls earlier, but confidence also isn't just important when it comes to girls. You also need it in life and school as well. By the time I was a junior, I started to realize that I may have made a mistake with my major. And on top of the fact that I was taking labs that I hated, I also started to struggle in the rigorous classes. And our class average on exams was usually somewhere in the B range. And I felt like I was constantly either right at the average or below it. And as a result, my confidence dropped, and I started to feel like I wasn't as smart as the other kids. And this kind of leads into my next lesson, which is to not rely on grades for validation. Your grades don't define you or what you're capable of doing. It's just a number on a sheet of paper. And if your grade is lower than what you thought it should be, it just means that you need to make some adjustments as to how you prepare for the exams. And beating yourself up or getting down on yourself isn't going to change the grade, but your mindset and how you respond can improve your grades moving forward. One important word that I've been using lately and also related to college is perspective. So don't get too high on your wins or too low on your losses. Life is a marathon and everyone has to run it at their own pace. And so I had to forgive myself for not working harder and not understanding how much of a blessing it was to be able to go to college and work towards my goal of going to dental school. I also had to forgive myself for being hard on myself if the girl I liked didn't like me back. The second to last lesson I have for you guys is to not let short-term feelings have negative long-term consequences. The only class I didn't pass in my undergrad was genetics. It was one of the toughest classes I've ever taken. And when I found out that I didn't pass the final, I sent my professor a very strongly worded email saying that she didn't, do a good job preparing us for the final. But fortunately, she just responded telling me how I could improve my performance in the class the next semester. At the time, I allowed my short-term feelings to get in the way and almost led to some terrible consequences. It's understandable that I was frustrated, that I was going to have to, repeat the course, but instead of taking my frustrations out on her, I should have asked her to go over the test and give me tips for how I can do better in her class the next semester. The last lesson I have for you guys is to do everything to better yourself, not to try and flex on other people. When I first started lifting weights, my senior year of high school, I lifted angry. I was mad I didn't make the basketball team, and I was mad because I felt like girls were always friend zoning me. This was good in the short term because once I got to college and switched up my program, I put on muscle quickly and I was hitting PRs all the time. What I didn't realize was this led to me being dependent on the gym. If I didn't go to the gym for, 3 days, I would feel terrible because I didn't have an outlet to release the anger I had held inside of me for so long. As time went on, I realized that I needed to make peace with the anger in my heart. I understood that having that kind of resentment in my heart wasn't going to get me anywhere. So when I came to peace with the reality of this situation, I started to realize that even though the girl that I wanted rejected me or did me wrong, being angry towards the situation wasn't wasn't going to change it. Once I started lifting weights for, the joy of improving myself, I started to feel much better, both inside of the weight room and out. So all right guys, that wraps up my video on 10 things I wish I knew in college. I hope you guys got some value from this video, and if you did, it would mean a lot to me if you liked the video, shared it with your friends, and subscribed to my channel. I also want to know what you guys' favorite tip was from the video. So let me know in the comments below. And all right guys, I'll talk to you guys in the next video.